what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow your mind and melt your podcast with the hand of my visual aid.
Ladies, gentlemen, them, they, and all, it's showtime! Ha-ha! Although, when we do say showtime, we do use that term very loosely, as what we've got in store for you today, well, our presenters have really no idea what they're gonna say because they're all unprepared. So strap yourselves in and brace yourself as the Some Nobodies present PowerPoint Showdown. So start that round of applause as we welcome this week's keynote speaker.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
When people do that. That's so weird when they point. Anyway, let's thank you for joining us for our amazing conference tonight. Now, if you don't know, tonight you're going to be hearing from 4 professionals discuss our topic, different types of clowns. Now, this is spooky season. We wanted to make sure people don't go into Halloween unknowing things. Really just seeing clowns there and not understanding what they're seeing. So I brought some professionals together, searched far and wide for some amazing, knowledgeable guests. And with me, as always, obviously we have Dylan, but he's sitting down.
Yes, it should say sitting clown, but the C and L on my keyboard are broken, so I did make the D look like it was
solid last minute bit. That's cool. We also have Michael Clownby. Is that
honk honk?
Is that clown? Is that an L and a C that you can't read?
Yeah, it's clown clee.
And our super special guest speaker is across of streams, Mr. Sal Demilio. How are you, Sal?
Good to be here with you, Zach.
Now, I've done a lot of shows with you, Sal, and it was stunning to me when I reached out to people who knew about clowns that you told me you have a special expertise, and I was shocked. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let me just get you on as soon as possible. So, yeah, I'm excited.
I've worked with a clown in the stand-up business, so I know all about him.
Oh, nice. Well, we're going to hear about that a little bit later, possibly. Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, each speaker will be given roughly 10 minutes to present our topic of the week, different types of clowns. After each presentation, there'll be a short Q&A for our panel. And of course, we invite any members of the audience who happens to be watching to ask as many questions as humanly possible. Now, after the 4th round, or after the 4th presentation, the panelists will vote on which speaker will be awarded the $50,000 scholarship to Some Nobodies University and the Nostalgia Prize of the Week, which just came in today, and I have to say, it is stunning. It is a replica of Jim Carrey's Riddler cane from Batman Forever. It is made in 24 karat gold, and it's
wow.
They're excited to send it to whoever wins tonight, and we're going to get into that after some ados, which nobody cares about. So let's get on with it. So if we can get my presentation open from our producers, pretty please. I would love to teach you folks things about clowns. Now, one thing that I like to do is hunting. And I do some of it for fun. I do a lot of it for profit. And that's why it's important to know the different types of clowns. You can't just be shooting all types of clowns, depending on what season it is. Most clowns are open for 2 days out of the year. But depending on the type of clown, you can't do that stuff in December, which is coming up pretty soon. So let's get on with this. Clown hunting. Next slide, please. Now, about us. Number one, who we are. We're an organization of professional clown hunters skilled in the art of finding comedy wherever they may hide. We look under very large rocks that are propped up with insignificant twigs. We look in random caves that should have bears in them. We look anywhere for comedy and clowns. Number two, where we operate. Now, officially, the continental United States and various satellite hunting grounds around the globe. Unofficially, wherever them clouds may be hiding. If there's a clown there, I do not care if it's going to be a covert mission. I'm going to get the job done. Me and my crew. Number three, goals and strategies. This is the one that people ask about a lot. Now, what we want to do really is we want to spread the word of this noble sport. We enable its practice for those who may not Why did you put this in gray? Let's see. It enables its practice for those who may not had a chance and supports its conservancy efforts. Now, what you don't realize is that clowns are also bad for the ozone layer. In some regions, they're even known as pests. So we're doing a service to all communities by getting rid of these specific clowns at the specific time. Next slide, please. Now, here's our evolution. In 1933, big clown boom, guys. Clown boom, like you would not believe. Similar to the birth of the solar system, the birth of the universe. It was a big bang, a clown boom. Now, while clown population grows exponentially, threatening comedy environments, laugh shacks, open mics, everything was in danger. They were just grabbing, they were pulling up in tiny cars and just shuffling out into every improv comedy that there was. Clown boom. Now, let's hop ahead a little bit, roughly 29 years to 1962 during the first major clown purge. Now, this is an unregulated clown hunt, reduced clown populations to lowest levels in recorded history. When it came to the end of 1962, you could not find a clown that did not have at least a scar from what we were doing. We went on a ramp, not me, I wasn't born yet, but on my three fathers, they went out there and just really gave them clowns some heck. Now, in 1985, I was born, I was 7. That's when the founding happened, which is the society created a conservancy organization, clown population stabilized. So what we did was we actually started a clown census. We really made people prove to us, hey, are you an actual clown? What type of clown are you? Show me what your clown tricks are. And we wanted to make sure that if we were just going to go on a mass slaughter, we weren't getting rid of the wrong clowns. Those insane clown posses, those Chris Angel kind of clowns. You want to keep those guys around. Those guys make money. The ones you don't need, the bozos, the ones that look out for rodeo riders. I could go on. Let's hop to 2001. Attention. Now, George Bush joins annual clown hunting, bring unprecedented attention to the sport. It was magnificent. Unfortunately, it wasn't either one of the George Bushes that were president. It was actually Jorge Bush, but he was a very popular golfer. But that guy had an Instagram following that you would not believe. And when he went out there with one of his hooked clown sticks, I think you call them putters, he really just went to town, and he brought a new level of sport to just random onslaught and murder. Next slide, please. These clowns, these funny clowns, these clowns sure are. We got them. Did you see how we got it? How we got with them? What a great sport, Dick. Now, that is an actual quote from President George Bush while watching Jorge Bush slaughter some people. He made that note to Dick Cheney, and it was actually the day before Dick Cheney shot George Bush. I think that's history. Next slide, please. Now, we have obviously a budget. We're a nonprofit, but we do have a lot of people that just send money and random bowling pins for us. Now, what we do with the budget, I'd like to break that down for you because people ask that. They go, what do you guys do with all of your money and large shoes? And I guess things that come with that. Now, 38% of that goes to marketing. I have a lot of work to do when it comes to marketing. What we found is that billboards are the way to go. Clowns see the billboards and they hide under under tunnels and inside sewage drains, which really lets the kids tell us where they are. So we really go after the marketing. Side of that is going to be advertising because people need to know what you're doing. They see clowns out there. They don't know who to call. Who do you call? I'll tell you, 24% are breeding. These clowns are going to town, mostly on each other, which is fine because it helps us hunt every season. Because obviously you want to throw the little ones away. But when they start breeding with the livestock, that's when things get a little bit too funny for us. Now, 2% of that money has to go to conservation because you don't want to get rid of all the clowns. There are some clowns that are fine. And there are also some areas that need clowns. Mostly, third world countries and southern states like Louisiana, they still need clowns. They need people to look up to. So this is a brief rundown of our budget. Next slide, please. Kind of easy peasy. Criticisms. Yeah, we get them. I'm sorry. We're on the internet. We can't help it. Yelp reviews be damned. Here are some criticisms. Short term. Yeah, That's fair. Now, you're telling me that you go out and you shoot people dressed up as clowns. Isn't that just murder? Well, it would be if we shot people that dressed as clowns. But we actually shoot the clowns. And that's where it differs. Clowns, like I said, are pests. You can see them just gnawing on random tree barks, and you got to stop that stuff, especially in the spring. Now, here's some long-term criticisms. The commodification of violence is going to lead towards its acceptance of mainstream as a default mode of conflict resolution. In society which already worships war as a solution, these clowns hunt certainly aren't funny, and their proponents might argue, we don't like what we do. We have to do what we have to do. We don't dress up and mock the clowns. We don't torture them. We don't get pleasure out of this. We are doing a service. There's gazebos out there that don't need these sleeping clowns just hanging out. There could be a jazz festival going on out here. There's random backs of Walmarts that need to be clown free for any other drug doings or whatever entrepreneurs going on. We got to get these clowns out of the systemic life. If not now, when? Next slide, please. Now our response. Get over it, hippie. Yeah, easy. I don't want to see your SJW, sorry, vegan, goat butter eating, whatever fanatic you are. These clowns got to go. And if not me, I know you're not going to do it. And no, clowns are not funny. I'm sick of hearing it. It's literally one of the people say, well, clowns are funny. No, they're not funny. They take way too much time doing their makeup. They have ridiculous wardrobes that you can't find in normal stores. And what do? They either honk things or flop around and make stupid noises or squirt water on me. Nothing funny about that. They got to go. Next slide, please. But there's just different kinds of clowns. Now, in conclusion.
You made the presentation, Zach.
I know. I just wish that I would have read...
Followed the title that everybody had agreed on. Sure.
Because here's the thing. I know a lot about different types of clowns, but I'm just so GD passionate about getting them out of my face that sometimes I put a cowboy hat on and I look for random large structures that they're hanging out in, and I get in their face and I say, "No, God damn it, there's not enough room in this playground for the two of us." And if they don't get out of there, I mean, they're a clown. You know what I got to do? They got to go. And that's why I like to murder as many clowns as humanly possible. That was my presentation on different types of clowns. I hope everybody learned something. I can teach you how to hunt. If I'd have known the whole thing was like that, I probably had a southern accent. But thank you very much for your attention. I will take any and all questions about clown hunting, whether fun, for profit, or for not profit. Are you Dylan sitting down?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting clown. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
You
brought up George W. Bush and Jorge Bush, but I'm curious if you could comment on the effects that clown hunting had on President George Bush's policymaking during his administration.
I tell you, it really made him second guess and double glance over everything he was doing. He wasn't sure at that time who was a clown. He saw a lot of old white people with crazy hair and floopy shoes, and he got paranoid. And it really made him put a lot of fake bills through just to see which clown's going to stop this. So I'll say 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any more questions about different types?
I got a question for you, Zach.
Yeah.
What there's bounties on clowns. Is there a particular amount that's like, is Bozo the clown, would he be like $1 million, and then just some clown at Walmart would only be like $100? How do you go with the financial situation of clown hunting?
Yeah, good question. So number one, they're called clounties, not bounties.
I'm sorry.
We have to get that straight off the bat. And mostly it comes in cryptocurrency. We have to create different types of cryptocurrency because clown currency, if you will. Thank you, Dylan, for that. We have to keep creating different ones because we don't fully understand how to pay them out. So we create new ones, pay people with that for the clounties, and then really, it's a couple pyramid schemes going on at once.
Okay.
But these clowns got to go. That's all I can say about that. All right. Oh, God. Okay. Michael Clownby.
Now, I don't have a question because I think you presented what you were presenting very well. I just wanted to thank you because I'm sure that we're going to learn plenty about the different types of clowns today. There's only 3.
I beg
but
to differ.
I'm glad that someone had the balls to present, how to kill these clowns instead of just telling us about clowns, because that would have gotten boring. I wish you would have gone maybe last.
Yeah.
Are there different ways to kill the different clowns, or do they all have sort of the same weaknesses?
Well, obviously, depending on the size of the individual clown itself, you really want to do different things. Mostly their knees are very weak. They have weak knees is what we found on all of them.
From all the slapping.
Yeah, I mean, when I was... That was a good one. Bravo. Now, when I was asked to be on this episode for my knowledge of clowns, I thought, what can I do with this platform? I could instruct people on what to see out there, or I need to instruct people on what they should not be seeing. They need to get rid of these clowns. So I don't really care what different types they are. They all kind of go, I think. I think that's what my presentation said. But that's it, guys. Thank you very much for your time in that matter. I hope you learned something. And up next, we're going to have Mr. Dylan Terry. Dylan, are you sitting down?
Yes. I think it's very important that people know I'm not standing for this anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm going to deliver a presentation on... I wrote a story in high school about clowns, and I just found it. Now, this is a love story and some poetry about clowns by me. Funny story, I did just clean up my living area for a while ago, and I did find my old college thesis, which was some fiction that I had written. There isn't a lot of clown stuff in there, but again, this is the story I wrote in high school. I wrote it on a typewriter, so please use the grungy texture. These are direct uploads from the documents which I found. So let's go to the next slide, please. As a small child, I was fascinated by these alabaster delights. I've compiled my favorite clippings, musings, ballads, sonnets, verses, and overall creative writings into a scrapbook. But I can't upload a scrapbook, can I? Spoilers. If you're going to have to pick which of these I go over, because I don't know how to work my mom's scanner. I didn't mean to come clean so soon, I suppose. But here we are. I need people to choose between the friendly golden damselfish and clownfish. Here will come right up to your mask and look in. A sex-crazed flying ant with a clown's face. Blue is the Southeast London Blues of Billy Jenkins, who plays the guitar like a clown, a truly sad clown. And the last word, part 1. It's about a lone gunman in a clown mask holding siege at the Junior Gazette. But you know what? Considering this is my presentation, I don't think I can do all this. So let's go to the next slide. Let's see what we're doing.
We're not going to do any of those?
I don't think we're going to do any of those.
Fine.
This is everything I could find on these elusive white devils. Now, first we got Canada with the apostrophe on the A. 45%. I don't know why Canada isn't scared of them yet. 45% of what? People don't know clowns there. 45% of people don't know clowns. Something along those lines. It's been a long time since I looked at all of this stuff. This is from high school. I went through a clown phase. So excuse me if some of the details are a little fuzzy. 30% of the USA. Don't know why. We're really scared of them. And elsewhere, about 25%. I didn't have the time or money to go check out those other places. I'm a podcaster. I'm poor. The only place I could get to was Canada because my grandma lives there. So I go there from time to time on family vacations. So, I mean, America, United States, don't really care about any other places. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, here's some places I would like to visit. Just in general, I'd like to visit here, down there. I've heard tales of clowns down here. And, as they like to say, I'm down for a clown. And then I want to go and here. I've only read of tales of clowns over here. I had to copy and paste my previous text because my keyboard had stopped working. So I had to use the X through thing. And that's in Germany or Switzerland. As I said, I'm an American, so I only know America and Canada. My geography is a little shaky when it comes to places. But there are clowns here, there are clowns there, clowns down, like a clown, Charlie Brown. Let's go to the next slide, please. No. Here's some different names for clowns that I find good. No, find good as in like I find them, not find them well. I didn't find these names, I don't think. These are just names that I like. Names and goodness. So first we've got Lightning Bolt. We're calling him Calamity. Now if a 3-month truce is a truce in truth, is the truth of a truce in truth a 3-month truce? I'm the one giving the presentation, so I say yes.
Yeah.
Number 2, we got a little cloud. I thought it was nice to mark these, how clouds have like iconography sometimes. So you got the lightning bolt, you got the cloud. This is Baggy Britches. Which wicked wish. Yeah. This is pretty good, right? Yeah. It's about witches. There's a good witch in Wizard of Oz. So, on a scale of all witches ever, that's a pretty good one. And we got number 3, upside down smiley face, also known as Loof. And on the scale of goodness, this one is the skunk sat on a stump, the skunk thunked, the stump stunk, but the stump thunked, the skunk stunk. I would love to do that again, but I would ask one of my fellow panel members to lay me down a beat, and I don't think any of them are up for it. So let's go to the next slide, please.
Boom, 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 boom.
Of all the different clowns I've met, oh, he stopped. Okay, I had a rhythm going. I have hugged 75% of them. They're pretty easy to catch if you ask for an autograph. A lot of them are desperate for attention. That's why they dress up and draw attention to themselves and do their whole act. So if you stop and pay attention to a clown, it makes their day. And they'll sign anything you put in front of them, depending on the context of the situation. 25% of them I could not hug. They seem to be the smarter of the clowns, and they're faster, harder to catch. And thank you to the previous presenter. Obviously, I think they might have been suspicious about my motives for approaching them. Like, you have to be careful, because if a clown becomes used to people, it becomes harder for that clown to survive in the wild. And so these skittish clowns are the ones that you really don't want to chase so they don't get used to it. Yeah. I mean, we mentioned conservants. So, yeah. Let's go to the next slide, please. And now, of course, what kind of presentation is a good one without data? And so here are some numbers with circles around them. Now we have 90. Well, this one clown at a baseball game was number 90? Yes. We have 40. That's 40 ounces to freedom. For some reason, I wanted a sublime joke here. Couldn't possibly imagine what that was, but it's, the safe word is lemon. 50. Oh, yeah. The oldest clown still in high school. 50 is the name of the clown. They're only 21. Which 50 the clown, I mean, grows on you after some time. Not the clown, but the name. It's like, oh, yeah, 50, the clown. There's a certain ring to it. And then 80. That's how old my great uncle was when he started clowning. All the stories he could tell. Not about clowning, because he died at 81. But, man, that dude did a lot. He was really good at ciphers for some reason. Like, he would write these notes in like little script, and he'd talk shit on the police, and he'd leave notes around. Yeah, he used to hang out in like California. I think, which is the city with the bridge? San Diego?
All of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was a huge fan of like astrology. And he'd write his notes in his little like symbol ledgers, and he'd have me like decode them, and he'd be like, listen, you got to get good at this to carry on like my legacy. I'll tell you when you're older. Never told me when he was older. He started clowning, and then he died because he got, hit by a car. But I always wondered, what could have been. Anyway, those are some numbers with circles around them to wrap up my presentation. But to really wrap up my presentation, let's go to the next slide. Now, in conclusion, clowning isn't for everybody. Please, just like starting an exercise routine, consult with a physician before you start clowning. As I said, my uncle died less than a year after he started clowning. It's a dangerous thing to do. So make sure you get hooked up to your machines. Make sure you get all your printouts. Make sure you double check that you are physically fit enough to start clowning. You might need to outrun some people who are on a hunt. So I believe that is my presentation on that. Well, it's not the presentation about that story I wrote in high school about clowns that I just found, because I ultimately didn't want to read that out. So it's just kind of a rambling sequence of non sequiturs, loosely linked around the thematic aspects of clowning.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the applause. I deserve it. I'll take any questions from the panel.
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, okay. Sal's out of the gate. What's up?
you had this typewriter when you were young,
Mhm.
and what was because you were at such a young age, why did you have this fascination with clowns at such a young age? What was the reason behind it? Did you get scared of a clown when you were like 5 or something? Like, why so early were you writing about clowns? And what was this, elementary school, I believe? You got this
Uh,
typewriter?
Yeah, it was roughly about then. My parents used to pull pranks on me for their YouTube channel where they would hide scary clown dolls out in the house on springs, and I'd be like 3 or 4 years old, and I'd like be toddling around the house and around the corner, and my dad would be like, ah! And they did this for the first like 8 years or so of my life, and so it really instilled in me a fascination with clowns, and a really deep-seated fear of people jumping out at me from around corners.
Fair enough. That would
Yes.
scare me as a kid too.
No. Let's hear from Zacko the Clown.
Thank you very much for trying to teach us something about clowns.
Mhm.
I think I failed to do that in my presentation.
Mm.
But are there any musings or poetry or love stories that you can remember, since none of them actually got put into your slides for some reason?
Probably.
Nice. Thank you.
Yes. Michael Clownby.
Yeah. I have a very special interest in clown love stories.
Mhm.
First question, how explicit is this story? And second question is there anywhere that, since it wasn't in the presentation, that I could in fact read the story? How you answer the first question will determine how interested I am in the second question.
Very and Amazon.
Okay. Is there a free sample?
The Amazon.
Sometimes
Amazon.
I only need a free sample to finish.
They do the little like peek inside thing, but I
Mhm.
intentionally left the first 30 pages of it blank so people couldn't cheat it.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Some
I will
solid
pay
tips.
whatever I need to read an explicit clown
Oh,
story.
I'm aware. Yes.
Okay, Clownby, do you have any questions on the presentation?
No,
Not
because
about his fanfic.
ever since the first slide, all I could think about was the clown love story. So I sort of missed the entire presentation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Well, listen, folks, I'm not sure if we've learned anything yet, but super special guest, Mr. Sal Demilio, is actually going to teach us something. So, Sal,
Okay.
please take it away.
Oh, okay. And sorry about I got a horrible marketing department at the bottom of my screen. It says Sal and Bob. That was supposed to say Tony Ciclano. Ciclano is what that was supposed to say.
Tony Ciclano.
Of course.
I just wrote that 2 minutes ago. Thank you. Types clowns. Some scary shit. I found out that there are actually 23 types of clowns, and here are just 6 of them. So I'm going to go over the 6 basic types of clowns that you see in everyday life, or that you've seen at a department store, or that you've seen on stage somewhere. So I'm just going to give you the types of clowns that you might kind of run into in your daily lives, or some that you want to hire. If you want to hire some clowns, I can give you some advice on the types of clowns you want to hire, whether it's for a divorce party, somebody's getting divorced, I can get you a clown. Or obviously, if you have like 5-year-old kids, I can get you a clown for that kind of occasion. So anyway, I'm going to give you the types of clowns, and this is going to be some scary shit. So next slide. Here are some dishonorable mentions. These are some of the clowns that just didn't make the. Think of me as the university, and this just didn't make the curriculum for my students to learn about. The first one is a trap clown. They're scarier when they can dance good for some reason. Trap clowns, you definitely don't ever want to hire. You don't want to see these trap clowns. They're just way too scary. They're too scary for 5-year-olds, and they're too scary for people that just got divorced as well. Number 2, tax clowns. Nothing definite in life, at least in April, than clowns and taxes. Yes, you definitely don't want to deal with tax clowns because actually Joe Biden and his administration just hired 68,000 more tax clowns to go after clowns that are like, taking money, like doing a house gig and putting the $200 in their pocket and not paying taxes on that. So now there's 68,000 new IRS agents going after, disruptive taxes by clowns. So we don't want to show that. Number 3, damp clown. Being slightly moist is apparently a lot of folks' nighttime bad dream time. So yeah, we don't want to deal with the damp clown. It was like a phase for the I don't want to give out his name. He's like the god of the clown industry. He thought of all the clowns and just he was having a bad year when he thought of the damn clown. So we don't want to even deal with the damn clown. And circumcir clown, number 4. You can never get around this kind. It's just a horrible name. Nobody can pronounce it, so we never get any inquiries about circumcir clown. So next slide. Bitch ass white face. I hate this kind. The bitch ass white face clown. Yeah. You don't want this. You never want to hire this kind of clown. When we had this class at the university, the bitch ass white face clown, nobody signed up for this class. It was just one of the worst ones. We had just, only 2 people would take this class to learn about the bitch ass white face clown. So this did really, really bad. I mean, look at this thing. It's so ugly. It scared everybody. We kind of wanted to make the clown look like Kathy Griffin, but we didn't quite get there. She's a lot prettier than this clown. But anyway, the bitch ass white face clown just didn't work. So next slide. Jesus Christ, let me tell you about mime clowns. Yes, the mime clown. Now that is it's a very famous clown. It originated in like Switzerland. I think France was also another. The Tiger Woods or the Michael Jordan or the Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos of the mime clowns is Marcel Marceau. I don't know why. I remember him because when I was a kid, I just always thought that was like the coolest name. But my parents used to actually watch Marcel Marceau, and my dad actually built Charlie Chaplin. This is true. My dad actually built Charlie Chaplin's pool, and Charlie Chaplin's actually considered a clown as well because he was very famous in the silent era, and he would just obviously clown around and stuff. He's another name of clown. He's like the president of our university. He's at the top. But anyway, Marcel Marceau is the most famous mime clown, and we definitely want people in our clown university to try to get as close to him so you can make lots of money. And so, yeah, mime clowns are huge, you guys. Next slide. Speed round of some pieces of shit. Number 1, the slow fake clown. This bitch is ice closed. Yeah. You don't want to deal with the snowflake clown. Snowflake clown would be like, like the Kardashians of the clown industry. You don't want to go down that route. So it's ice cold. The bitch is ice cold. Number 2, the smart clown. Okay, this bitch is a little too bright. This bitch is a little too bright. So the smart clown, you don't want that. You like you don't want to. You would never fall in love with like a clown that was hosting Jeopardy or something. So it's not that. Number 3, the firm but fair clown. Despite being fair, this bitch is actually firm as AF. Okay, yes, this is the kind of clown we like to present at our university. We like to have our women clown become the firm but fair clown. This is the perfect clown. You make lots of money. You get hired by all kinds of different parties, especially the divorce parties that I was telling you about earlier. Next slide. This is just let's see here. This is just some of our like where our clown universities, where we get most of the clowns that move on and end up being clowns. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of work to do in Japan. We're not getting many, a lot of Japanese people take our clown university, but then look, they drop out. We only have like not even 50 million clowns in Japan. So, United States kind of getting better. President Trump came in. We had a really big spike in clowns because people just thought he was a clown. So everybody wanted to become a clown. And as you see, China, it's just off the roof. There is over, there's more people. So obviously there's more clowns. India is doing very, very well. We do very well with our university in India, as you can see. And as you see, some of the other ones, Russia was kind of losing track there, but hopefully we just got to get rid of the one clown that's running the whole thing. Get rid of him. Then I think there'll be more clowns in Russia. So anyway, next slide. Rodeo clown characteristics. Yes, now the rodeo clown is very, very important to our university and to the livelihood of the whole clown industry. These are the most feared clowns because they're amazing. They're protecting people. So here's the commercial breaks for cowboys. Seriously, no one comes to the rodeo for them. That's very, very true. Loves barrel fashion. They are always wearing this shit. Yes, it is true. They have to wear, they actually wear padding underneath too, because they know they might get hit by a bull and all that kind of stuff. So they actually got a lot of padding on underneath their clown outfits. Wild. These pieces of shit are always sporting country western gear. That's true. They do, but they get all the way. I'm telling you, if you ever go to a rodeo, go to the bars around the rodeo, because after all the rodeo clowns are like singing karaoke and they don't even take their shit off. And they get all the ladies. I was going to say pussy, but I didn't know if I could say that on this show. But they get all the ladies. Smells like not shit, but is something from the bowl. Yes, they're very used to smelling bullshit because they're on them all day. So if some girl gives them a line in the bar when they're picking them up, they know that shit because they smell that shit all day. So anyway, next slide. In conclusion, as you can see here, this is the exemplified this picture here. This is what you receive at the end of the University of Clown School that you will go at the Tony Ciclano School of Clowns. This is what you'll receive. You'll receive this as a plaque with your name on it. And what it's saying is, I'm the baddest fucking clown in the world now. I've got liquor in one hand. I've got, I don't know, maybe the Moderna vaccine in the other hand. Ooh. And I am just ready to conquer the world of clowns and make lots of money. This is what you feel like. This picture is what you feel like when you walk out of the Tony Ciclano University Clown School. And that's it.
Hell yeah. Great job.
Thanks, guys.
Great job. Now, are there any questions for Tony Ciclano? Michael Clownby.
You said that what the rodeo clowns smelled like wasn't the bullshit, but it was something from the bull. I was just wondering if it's what I think it is, or I'm hoping it's not. But could you please elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, yeah. So what happens is these guys obviously are riding. When the bull rider falls off, the rodeo clown's got to go and disrupt the bull so that the bull rider can get to safety. And sometimes when he gets too close to the bull because he's trying to like get him his attention, he kind of ends up, smelling the bull's backside, and so he kind of knows that smell. And it is what you think it is. It's the ass of the bull.
Okay.
So
okay,
not,
so it's not
the poop,
necessarily
just much,
the shit,
but
but it is
the ass.
the ass.
The ass. It's
Yeah.
It
They're
is
eating
two
bull ass, you're
distinct
right.
smells. Yes.
Yeah. One's musky, one's just shitty.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Dylan.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the presentation, Tony. Now, I suppose this is kind of a comment as well as a question, but we try to keep these family friendly and appropriate for all audiences. So was all swearing really necessary?
I apologize because at the Tony Ciclano school, we have to teach clowns because sometimes they don't get paid properly. You know, you ever do these clowns, sometimes they do the gig, they can't find the person to pay them. They're running around the house or they're running around the Home Depot, whatever gig they got. They can't find. Sometimes these clowns got to learn how to swear to get their money.
Okay. I suppose a little pepper does increase the flavor.
But good question.
We do have a couple questions from Scott Curtis in the audience. He said,
Good.
what about B9zo, which apparently is Bozo? Now,
Bozo.
what about Bozo?
I tell you what. Well, the problem with Bozo is he had parts of the university named after him, but he got into a scandal. He was they caught him in the bathroom with Pepe Le Pew, and they just didn't think that was an appropriate relationship, so he was banned from the university.
Excellent. All right. Well,
I think it was Pepe Le Pew. We don't know. It was somebody.
Well, thank you, Scott Curtis, for asking that, and we can.
Yeah, good question, Scott. Bozo will always be remembered, though.
Good luck to Bozo. Excellent. Tony Ciclano, great job. We really appreciate actually learning about different types of clowns instead of how to hunt them or whatever business Dylan brought. He's had a tough week. It's fine. But I found some ados. Threw them away. Who cares about them? Michael Clownby is up next, and he's going to spread some serious ish.
That's right. Now, I'm going to admit to you, when I was making this presentation, I was hopped up out of my mind on fentanyl and 8 balls. So I don't know for sure that this is going to tell you about different types of clowns. Luckily, I am sober right now for the most part. So I'm going to do my best as an expert on different types of clowns to make sure that this presentation is going to include knowledge on the different types of clowns. So I guess we're doing this. Clowns? Let's do it. Next slide, please. Now, there are 3 opinions on clowns. The pro clown. Clowns are funny and harmless. People who fear clowns are overreacting to the uncanny. There are certain types of clowns that are purposely scary. But I think for the most part, these pro clown people are talking about your average party clown, your clown that you might see in the street making balloon animals for children, or the occasional clown that you might find in an alleyway in New York City. They're usually the ones with the good drugs that you want. I don't know what it is about the clowns, but they have the good stuff. So for the most part, I am one of the people who are pro clown. Now, there are anti-clown people that they think that clowns are outdated and intentionally grotesque, forms of humor more suited to an older time, and should be left in those older times. I can't disagree with them. For the most part, clowns have been replaced by podcasters. There are people now who take their goofy personas and just sit behind a microphone and talk. And there's too many of them. but really, podcasters are just modern clowns. As a matter of fact, I think we should stop calling them podcasters and just call them what they are, and just call all of them clowns. So, saying that they're outdated is not rolling with the times and learning about the new different types of clowns. Now, there are clown ambivalent people. They don't really think about clowns. Clowns play a very minor role in their lives, in their corner of the gore-soaked meat grinder that we call reality. These people, luckily, there's not too many of them, but they are missing out on the great things that clowns do. And also, I don't think that they're afraid enough of the bad types of clowns, because there are bad types of clowns. The juggalos, they're usually the ones with the bad drugs that you don't want. Poison, Fago, and lots of sexual misconduct from these juggalos. So you should probably pay more attention. If you're not paying attention to the clowns in your life, then you need to start thinking about it a little bit more. Next slide, please. Now, the business model for clowns is pretty simple. There's really not much to it. They have clown colleges. We just heard from somebody who runs a clown college. I think that was what that presentation was about. I wasn't really paying attention, but in reality, all there really is to being a clown is being able to apply makeup. The only real skill, well, there are two skills. I don't know why I didn't put. Usually when I talk about juggling while I'm talking about clowns, I also talk about unicycle riding, because those two things go hand in hand. There are clowns that can juggle, and there are clowns that can ride unicycles. Those clowns usually can juggle while they're riding on their unicycles, but really you need them to do one of those things. If they can do both, even better. The next thing is making kids cry. That's really easy to do. A lot of kids just cry at the drop of a hat. You don't, the color of fruit snacks that they like isn't in the bag of fruit snacks that they got. They're going to cry. You're using their favorite spoon. They're going to cry. You're in the street and you're swinging your new bag that you got that's full of electronics, very heavy equipment, and you smack them in the face with it. They're crying. Kids crying is the easiest thing in the world to do. You don't need to learn that at the school. And then birthday parties, which is where you put on your makeup. You take your balls or your clubs or your knives, whatever you're going to juggle in a unicycle. You take it to the birthday parties and you make the kids cry. Very simple. Next slide, please. Now, here's the clown analysis in dollars. Obviously, we live in America. Sorry for any non-American listeners, but everything in this country comes down to dollars. So your average clown makes $20,000 a year. That's what they're expected to make in 2023, which is this upcoming year. Now, your birthday clowns are going to make about $20,000. Your New York alleyway clowns, they make upwards of $75,000 to $200,000 a year. It's much more lucrative to be a drug dealing clown in New York City than it is to go to birthday parties and make children cry. Now, depending on your murder clown, If you're just murdering for the sport of it, you're not going to make a lot of money. But your average murder clown is going to murder about 200 people a year. So if they're taking the wallets and the credit cards out of everyone that they murder every year, you can cross the $500,000 mark if you are a good murder clown. Now, there's going to be about 150,000 customers this year, which is 2023. So those are people that are hiring clowns for their kids' birthday parties. Those are people buying drugs from your drug dealing clowns in New York City. I don't know why all of these drug dealing clowns only live in New York. They haven't expanded. They're not unionized, so they can't really spread out and go other places. I guess there's sort of a hub place that all of these drug dealing clowns live. Now, your murder clowns, I said before, there are only 3 types of clowns. There's your birthday clown, there is your drug dealing clown, and there's your murder clown. Now, these murder clowns, there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of crossover between your birthday clown and your murder clown. If you want to get rid of your kid, you're going to hire a clown. They're going to think that they're there to entertain them for their birthday party, and then the clown's just going to take all these kids out. So between the 3 of those, there's going to be about 150,000 customers. 100 assaults per year is on the low end of your murder clown assaults, but if there's anything happening, we're going to be able to. I've been thrown off all of a sudden. Apparently, there's something going on with my audio that I'm not aware of. So I apologize. But yeah, the assaults. Really, each of these different kinds of clowns are going to have different assaults. But your average, your birthday clowns are going to have about 5 to 7 assaults per year. Your murder clown is going to have twice that much, twice the 100 average. They're going to have about 200 assaults. And then your drug dealing clown usually has about 75 to 110. So we're going to average that out to say it's about 100 assaults a year. Next slide, please. Now, the studies show that people either love clowns, hate clowns, or are indifferent to clowns. Next slide, please. The problem and the solution. The problem is we don't know enough about clowns. And these are from the clown ambivalent people. We have to get knowledge of clowns. We have to be the right amount of afraid and amused by clowns. It's not as difficult of a balance as you'd think it is. If you're thinking about clowns, the average person thinks about clowns about 6 times a day. If the people who don't think about clowns that much would just think about clowns 2 times a day, there would be the perfect amount of clown knowledge from everyone. So why should we study clowns more? For everyone to be safer, for the clowns to be safer, for your general population to be safer. You need to know, because there's a difference. Birthday clowns, easy to spot. The drug dealing clowns, pretty easy to spot because, again, they're only in alleys in New York City. So if you see a clown in New York City in an alleyway, you can just assume that you can get the good drugs from them. Now, a murder clown is a little bit tougher. You're going to get your murder clowns who look like your party clowns. But there's always something a little bit more sinister about their makeup, or they're wearing tiny hats. only murder clowns wear tiny hats. If they're wearing a big hat, party clown. If they're wearing a regular size hat, drug dealer clown. If they're wearing a tiny hat, murder clown. Most people don't know that, but that is a fact. If you see a clown wearing a tiny hat, they are going to murder you. If you think, even if you just think about that fact twice a day, that's enough clown knowledge that'll get you through your life. Next slide, please. Now, I didn't really want to put this in here. Like I said, I was very high when I was making this, and it's not necessarily a secret that I am horny for clowns. I love Clussy. I love Cleanus. That is that is not a secret. So I'm going to look at these images just for a couple minutes.
Minutes.
But we don't need to really
This is all also audio, so
talk about it. If you're listening to the audio version, let me describe these images to you right now.
thank you.
There is a very buff man clown with poorly photoshopped makeup on his face.
Mm-mm.
But man, those pecs. Oh, he's got great veiny arms. I could see myself getting torn up by that guy. The next image is a picture of a lady clown, makeup over her entire body, covering up her crotch area. So we're not quite sure what's going on down there. Either way, this is spanking in three-way clowns. It doesn't really matter what's down there. Also, I would love to get torn up by that clown. And the last one is a bunch of Chippendales type guys, all wearing clown makeup in regular hat. The one that I can see the top of his head, he's wearing a regular size hat, so you know he's got the good drugs. We're gonna get nice and high before I let those guys tear me up. So okay, let's go to the next slide, please, before I bust a nut in my pants. Now, in conclusion, I think I forgot to put slides in here, but what you're looking at are two blurry images. One of them is a very, very close up on a clown nose, which everyone knows is the most erotic part of a party clown.
Mhm.
And then on the right side, or on my right side, I don't know what side it is on you. This is a close up, a very, very close up of a drug dealing clown's eye makeup.
Oh.
I really don't know why I put these in here. But really, this is what you need to know. Party clown, red nose. Drug dealing clown usually has very elaborate eye makeup. Murder clown, tiny hat. I don't know why I didn't put a blurry picture of a tiny hat in here, but that's really what you need to know.
Okay.
So I hope that you learned something about the three different types of clowns through my presentation. And also you learned something about me, which you probably didn't need to know. But if it turned at least one person on to clown erotica, it was worth it.
Very well done.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Zacko the clown, you look very trepidatious, but I feel like you're gonna have a good question for me.
Well, so we learned about drug clowns, and we learned
Mhm.
about birthday clowns,
Mhm.
and we learned about murder clowns.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to tell them apart is by the size of their hat.
Correct.
But my question to you is, Boppo the Bangable clown is not wearing a hat.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of clown is he?
Well, the thing about Boppo, the Bangable clown, is that is a poor Photoshop of a clown. So he's not wearing a hat because he's not really a clown. This is an obvious Photoshop.
This is Robin Taylor, the most famous erotic clown, aka Boppo the Bangable clown.
Okay, but it's not his face. If he were a real clown, he would be wearing a hat somewhere. But this is obviously a Photoshop. I stare at enough clowns to know the difference between real clown makeup and a poorly made Photoshop.
You're the clown professional here.
Yes, that's correct. Dylan, sitting
Yes.
clown.
Thank you for the recognition and the presentation.
Hmm.
I know that these are just examples, but now that we're currently on the slide, can you actually explain which piece of clown erotica is your favorite to consume and why?
Personally, of these three,
No.
No, ever.
okay. Well, my personal type of clown erotica is the fully body painted clown.
Yeah.
If you just have a clown who's just wearing their face makeup, that's good. But the more makeup that is all over the body, if you get a nice piece of erotica where the lady clown and the guy clown, pretty standard heteronormative type of porn, but in the clown realm, you get that white makeup slathered all over the dick. You get that white makeup, and sometimes the ladies do like a whole face downstairs, and the rainbow colored pubes. You really want, the more makeup, the better. And then as they get down to it, the more that makeup smears off of their bodies, that's even better. You want the sweat and the drool and the tears and the cum and the pee and all of that stuff. Just making that. By the end, you want two regular looking people and just a puddle of white and red and green and purple makeup all over the floor.
I think he was asking for a title.
Oh.
That's a very long title, but
long.
Amazon doesn't have any standards for it.
I've never made it through the whole title.
Honestly, there is one called Puddles of White and Red and green makeup on the floor.
That's gross.
And that's the one that I enjoy the most.
Sure.
Does Tony Ciclano have any questions?
I do, Zach. Thank you. Will you put the slide on with the since I ran Tony Ciclano University, I'd like to talk to him about the slide with I think it was 150,000 customers or whatever. That slide. Yeah, this one right here. Michael, I got a question for you.
Yes.
At Tony Ciclano University, we pride our clowns to make more than $20,000 in 2023. How can you get that number up? I mean, with inflation, gas prices to get to the gig. I mean, these clowns are spending a lot of fucking money.
I don't train the clowns. I just know about the clowns, and I know how to identify the clowns, and I know what type of very, very specific porn erotica that I am into. So the fact that, I'm assuming, like I said, I know personally clowns who make much, much more than $20,000, but there are also clowns that do it just for the love of clowning, that make $0 a year. So that's just an average like all of
Got it.
these numbers, it's just an average of what, what they're expected. Their expected income, the amount of customers, and the assaults are all just averages, because you're going to have some that are zero, and then you're going to have some clowns. Boppo the bangable clown, he makes
pulling it.
7 figures a year.
Easily.
So yeah, it's just an average.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Oh, thank you very much, Michael Clownby, for this. We did learn that there are 3 types of clowns, which I think it took us a lot longer than we thought it would to learn something, but we did learn something.
I promised you that I would teach something, and I kept my promise.
Yep, you have never lied to me while we are recording. So now with that, all presentations have been given, and each member of the panel will now indicate which speaker they believe deserves to win the $50,000 grant awarded by Some Nobodies Patreon account and the Collector's Nostalgia Prize, which again is a 24-karat gold screen accurate replica of the Riddler cane from Batman
See,
Forever.
I got too excited for that because I thought that was Sly Cooper's cane at first.
Oh, 24-karat gold Sly Cooper replica cane.
He puts it back down by the garbage. Didn't you just?
Yeah, just throw it right in the trash. Okay, so I'm the presenter number 1. Dylan, the sitting clown, is number 2. Tony's number 3, and Michael Clownby is number 4. I'm going to ask you to show me with a finger who you think won tonight's presentation in 3, 2, 1. Oh, did I win? I won it with a middle finger. I'll take it. I'll take it from Michael Colby. It's one of the nicest gestures he's ever given to me. So I will take that. So everyone, that's going to conclude our conference from the week. My name is Zach. I get payment for doing this. I get to ask someone to give me an outgoing slogan. So Michael Colby, what's our outgoing slogan of the week?
PowerPoint me to the Clussy.
Excellent.
Disgusting.
All right, we'll tune in next week before we say our goodbyes. Next week, we're going to have a conference. And since I won, I get to tell everybody what we're doing. So we're going to go over different shades of white for wall painting, because it turns out there are a lot of shades of white, and I need to figure this out. So tune in next week for that. Tony Ciclano, Sal Demilio, please, number 1, accept my thanks for being on the show. And number 2, tell people where to find you if they want to listen to you or see your face make sounds.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Zach. I really appreciate it. And good to be with you guys as well, Dylan and Michael. SalDemilio.com, Sal and Bob Show podcast. And just keep loving life out there, you guys. Have a great holiday season, and appreciate being on, man.
Love that. Keep loving life. Michael Clownby, where you be at?
Jack Billings presents Haunted Apartment Complex, the craziest scripted comedy podcast starring ghosts and werewolves and vampires and rich weirdos and magicians, and it's a weird comedy podcast, and it only takes up half an hour of your week. Like, what the fuck are you doing not listening to it?
Love it. It takes one poop and you get the whole episode in one solid or not so solid poop.
One really drive to work, and you have listened to the most entertaining thing that you'll hear all week.
They do call it the Single Movement Podcast.
Oh God. Dylan Terry, where can people hear more of this quippy humor and stunning delight?
Oh yeah, you can find me on any Some Nobody stuff. Look up Some Nobodies. We got No Time to Binge ongoing. We've got, of course, PowerPoint Showdown ongoing. We've got a bunch of pre-recorded scripted stuff out there and improv stuff like Silicon Angels, a podcast show, CYOP Appeal. We've got some other projects kind of in the books.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, check us out. I'm on Twitter at Vorpal_words, where I'm going to be doing National Novel Writing Month in a few days. So keep track on there.
Hell yeah. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can text Dylan Terry because he always knows where I'm at. So until next time, Dylan, do you remember what the phrase of the week was?
Cut me off.
Your life appears.
Shut up.
however torn. Now, there are more words here, but again, I'm about to pass out and throw up from lack of food and water. Also, I don't have plumbing in my house, so it smells very bad in here.
Thank you for watching PowerPoint Showdown. Today's winner will receive a $50,000 grant courtesy of Some Nobodies Patreon. Congratulations on your win! Join us next week for another showdown.
Thanks for providing that big prize, guys.